The Secret of the Machines, written by Rudyard Kipling. Machine is a thing that is created by people to make work easier. It is a mechanical structure which multiplies the effect of human effort. Machines are more efficient compared with human beings. One machine can do the work of several people. Today, we are living in the age of machines. Machines are not only used in factories but at home also. Without machines, we cannot even imagine our life because they can do many things for us. They are used to make life easy and comfortable. In this poem, besides speaking very highly of the modern technology and machines, the poet highlights the superior power of humans. About the author, Joseph Rudyard Kipling. He was born in 1865 and died in 1936. He was an English author who wrote short stories, poems, and novels. He was born in Mumbai. Some of his works are The Jungle Book and Kim. In 1907, he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature. In this poem, machines speak about themselves to human beings. We were taken from the war bed and the mine. We were melted in the furnace and the pit. We were cast and wrought and hammered to design. We were cut and filed and tooled and gauged to fit. In this stanza, machines tell us how they are created from the metals that are taken from the war bed. The ore of metals are taken from the ore bed and mines. As we all know that on earth, iron is found mainly inside the minerals hematite and magnetite. These minerals are dug out of the ores. Ore deposits are formed in sedimentary rocks, which are formed through chemical reactions that combined iron and oxygen in marine and fresh waters. We were melted in the furnace and the pit. Because iron is a solid material, it needs to be extremely hot to melt. In fact, it melts at 1,500 degrees. We were cast and wrought and hammered to design. There is a difference between wrought iron and cast iron. Wrought iron can be heated and worked into various shapes, but cast iron has to be melted and poured into a mold and allowed to be solidified. That means to become or make hard. So, the machines are designed by casting and hammering. We were cut and filed and tooled and gauged to fit. The machines become fit by cutting, filing, assembling, and measuring. Some water, coal, and oil is all we ask, and a thousandth of an inch to give us play. The machines need water, coal, and oil to run. Once the machines are fed with fuel, they will start functioning immediately. And now, if you will set us to our tasks, we will serve you 4 and 20 hours a day. When they are given a task, they will perform it. The machines serve us for 24 hours a day as they can never get tired. We can pull and haul and push and lift and drive. We can print and plow and weave and heat and light. We can run and race and swim and fly and dive. We can see and hear and count and read and write. So, the machines can pull, haul, push, lift, dive, print, and etc. They can do all sorts of works that humans can do. Would you call a friend from half across the world? If you will let us have his name and town and state, you shall see and hear your crackling question hurled across the arch of heaven while you wait. This stanza is talking about the ability of machines to transmit the information across the world. Obviously, it is about the telephone, which is most common and important device for communication. It helps us to communicate with others from any location. It was invented by Graham Bell in 1876. Has he answered? Does he need you at his side? You can start this very evening if you choose, and take the Western Ocean in the stride of 70,000 horses and some screws. If your friend who is living beyond the seas, if he needs your help, if he wants you to come over to his place, you can start immediately using transport machines like ships, which have enormous power. Horsepower is the term used to measure the force of an engine. You can sail across the ocean in a ship. The boat express is waiting your command. You will find the Mauretania at the quay, till her captain turns the lever neath his hand, and the monstrous 9-decked city goes to sea. Boat express means special trains for specific sailings. You will find the high-speed luxury passenger liner Mauretania at the platform. Here, quay means landing place for loading ships. Here, missions are talking about big ships waiting for the passengers, but they have to be given instructions. Mauretania, it's the name of a large ocean liner. And neath means beneath. And next, decked means having many floors. Do you wish to make the mountains bare their head? This line refers to the landscaping machines that can make a garden or the other area of the ground more attractive by altering their existing designs and lay their new cut forests at your feet. Tree cutters. Here it refers to tree cutters that can be used in forestry. a practice in which most or all the trees in an area are uniformly cut down. Do you want to turn a river in its bed? Riverbed means the bed or a channel in which a river flows. Here it is about the machines that can turn the water in a particular direction, or plant a barren wilderness with wheat. This line is talking about the sowing machines or plant machines that can scatter the seeds on land so that they may grow. Shall we pipe aloft and bring you water down from the never-failing cisterns of the snows, to work the mills and tramways in your town, and irrigate your orchards as it flows? Mountain snowfields act as natural reservoirs for many western United States. It is said that as much as 75% of water supplies in western states are derived from the snow melt. Here, the author is talking about piping machines through which we can bring down the water and make use of it in the water mills that can produce the electricity, and we can make use of it in tramways and irrigation. It is easy. Give us dynamite and drills. Watch the iron-shouldered rocks lie down and quake as the thirsty desert level floods and fills, and the valley we have dammed becomes a lake. In this stanza, the machines talk about the bridge building techniques. They say the people use machines to dry the lake or even flood the valley to their specific needs, especially during the construction of a bridge over water. But remember, please, the law by which we live. We are not built to comprehend a lie. We can neither love, nor pity, nor forgive. If you make a slip in handling us, you die. We are greater than the peoples or the kings. Be humble as you crawl beneath our rods. Our touch can alter all created things. We are everything on earth except the gods. The machines ask us to remember that they are operated according to the law of physics. They say that they neither love nor forgive and cannot comprehend a lie. If they are handled in a careless way, the results can be very serious. So, they must be operated very carefully. They claim they are greater than the peoples or the kings and ask the humans to be humble before them. They say how human emotions and judgment mean nothing to them. They say they are all powerful on earth except the gods. Though our smoke may hide the heavens from your eyes, it will vanish and the stars will shine again. Because for all our power and weight and size, we are nothing more than children of your brain. Finally, the machines become optimistic. They say that the impact of science and technology will not destroy the earth. At last, machines accept to the fact that they are not superior to mankind. They humbly state that they are only the children of the human beings. So, the poet tells us that no matter how many difficult tasks the machines and the robots do, they will always be created and controlled by humans. So, what we can understand from this poem is the secret of the machines is the human intelligence.